Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm your host, Rich Ferguson, and today we're going to do something different. We're going to talk about 10 of my favorite telltale signs when it comes to dating. That's right, relationships. I already know the comments are going to be filled with people arguing about what's right or wrong, or no means yes and yes means no and all that stuff. I'm telling you right now, here's some techniques that are time-tested, real-world, applied psychology, basic observations that are accurate. They work almost in every situation. It doesn't matter if it's dating or poker or negotiations or hiring or firing or sales or whatever it may be. But these are ones that I've pulled out of my arsenal that are just great for people that are interested in dating and knowing what someone's really thinking, what their motives really are, if they're afraid or if they're just putting on a good front. So get ready, buckle up, and let's do this. All right, lovely people, let's get into this. Now, for those really interested and want to dive deeper into this, I've done other videos on top 10 ways to read people and have an advantage in sales or business, top 10 ways to read people in poker. I'll put links in the description. You can check out those videos. Really fantastic information. Now, I do full-blown motivational, inspirational keynotes on this subject. This is something I do professionally outside of the fun of YouTube. So you can go check out my site at richferguson.com and learn more information there if you're interested. But let's get into this. Now, when it comes to human behavior, I don't care about all the data, all the stuff you see in these books, all this clinical information that's based on maybe this, maybe that. I know for a fact if I kick you in the leg, it's gonna hurt. So as a magician, as a mentalist, as an entertainer who's in front of thousands of people at corporate events, I can't go wrong. So I need to have strategies, or I have to use techniques that just work. So what I've done as an entertainer and as a keynote speaker is I've stripped away all the theoretical psychology and we're getting right down to brass tacks, stuff that works. So let's get into it. What's one simple thing that works every time? Well, take a look at this picture. Let's evaluate this for a second. We have this girl sitting here. What do you see that's going on? Take a good look at her hands. Now we're exaggerating it in this picture, but notice that her hands are face up. What does that mean? Well, it can mean a lot of things. She may have a wrist problem. She may be sweating. But here's one tip that people don't realize. The hands, the feet, certain parts of your body are wired to your subconscious. When those things move based on some stimulus or intel or something, a stress stimulus or attraction or something, if something changes, that's the golden door to let you know exactly what they're thinking, what their feelings, what their motive is, regardless of what they're going to put on in their face and go, oh, that sounds great. I'd love to see you next Thursday. If you see their feet retreating or you see other signs that conflict with that, that's the truth. So in this case, her hands are face up. It may not mean a whole lot of things, but I know for certain, if I say, I think I really like you, let's maybe go out next week, and I see her hands relax and they turn face up, that's a very vulnerable position to be in. If you expose your neck or you expose a delicate part of your body or skin, that's a sign that you're liking the information that you're seeing or hearing or retrieving. They like it. So regardless of up here, they're going, I don't know, I just don't know if I like you, but you see their legs open up, their groin is pointing toward you, their feet are pointing toward you, they're doing other signs that tell you good. That's that area where people start to argue, because no means no, period. However, when it comes to body language and just having that advantage of knowing what someone's really thinking, knowledge is power. It just lets you know where you really stand with somebody. That's what this is all about. So if you see someone's hands in business or poker or negotiations or dating, you see their hands relax and they turn upwards and their palms are exposed, that's a very positive sign. They like what they're hearing, they like what they're seeing. It's very simple. Here's another basic one. We all know about pacifying behaviors or playing with your hair or your necklace, things like that. Well, if you're talking to a girl or you're talking to a guy, whatever it may be, and they're twirling with a necklace or playing with their ring, they could be nervous, they could be fidgety, they could be a lot of things. However, the key thing is knowing when they did something. So for instance, you're talking to somebody, you're flirting, and you say something that caused them to go, that's interesting. And all of a sudden they're twirling their hair. Something you just did caused it. that is your golden opportunity to go, aha, there is what I call a shift of behavior. And in that moment, you just got golden information to know that what you did caused that, and it's favorable. When it comes to body language and influence or persuasion or observation, it really doesn't matter what you see. It just doesn't. Throw it all away, it's meaningless. But if you cause it to happen and you were there when a stress factor or a stimulus or some sort of intel was dropped into the situation and you saw it happen live, gold. One of my absolute telltale signs is the feet. If I'm at a celebrity party performing magic, let's say, and I see a bunch of people standing around, watching the feet is gold. All I just got to do is glance down and I can see that everyone's pointing toward one person. I know that person's the ringleader or some famous director that I don't know. I know that person's in charge and I can tell just by the feet. I can also see if someone's trying to exit. So take a look at this photo and see what you see. There's a couple things going on here. Whoever this girl is talking to, she's putting on a face and she's trying to look very happy and pretty and polite, saving face, but she's not into him at all. Her hands are telling me that they're retreating. She's gripping them for comfort. But more importantly, her feet. Her feet have literally wrapped around the chair for pacifying, for comfort, for retreat, for safety. And if she was like this the whole night, she just might be scared in general or timid or just a shy person or whatever. But if the guy's talking to her and she retreats to this position and you see her going to this position, she's not liking the date. She doesn't like you. She doesn't like the information. So pay attention to the feet. Pay attention to the hands. The hands speak volumes. How people hold them, what their thumbs do, where they place them. But most importantly, the very first thing you do is shake someone's hand. In that alone, I can assess if someone's timid, trying to control me, not trusting me, or a variety of other factors. So take a look at these two pictures and let's evaluate what's going on. Now you notice in the first picture, her hand is face down, his hand is face up. What does that mean? Someone literally has the upper hand. So in this case, did the guy offer his hand face up? Did they come in neutral? And did she turn his hand face up, therefore putting her hand face down? Did she take the upper hand? Or did he offer it? Very big difference. If they came in neutral and she turned his hand to this position, so she has the upper hand, that would be a very controlling, dominating person who's basically telling me, it doesn't matter what I have to say, it's their way or the highway. So it will tell you in a second, in just a handshake, where somebody stands in the situation. Now let's take a look at this other picture. It's the same thing except the guy's hand is on top. So again, it's just a snapshot in time. We don't know if it was offered neutral and put to that position, because that is what tells you everything. Now, you might want to offer your hand a little bit more face up to give the person the authority, the upper hand, so they feel confident, they feel secure, they feel safe, and they feel like their opinion matters. So there is a bit of a strategy, especially in business and sales, this kind of game. So it's something to think about. So the next time you shake someone's hand, evaluate. Did they hesitate? That's pretty cocky. Did they squeeze you too hard? There's a lot of factors when it comes to just a handshake. I did an entire TED Talk on just handshakes 15 years ago, 10 years ago. So the TED Talk I did last year was all on human behavior in general. So if you want to look at that, I'll put a link in the description as well. Really fascinating stuff. But even in dating, just in relationships, meeting people, all this stuff is gold if you know what to look for, and more importantly, when to look for it. What people do with their hands speaks volumes. If someone's in this classic pyramid steeple type position, that's typically a position of power, authority, confidence, and all that stuff. Some people fake it. They stand here on the news doing this, or doing this in a business meeting, and it kind of can look very stiff. But if it's very natural, you're like, oh, it's interesting. Pay attention to natural movements and shifts, because that lets you know if this person's confident, if they're evaluating you, whatever it might be. So the hands. If the hands switch in a situation and all of a sudden they go crossed and they go, I love what you're saying, but you see their hands cross, that tells you a lot of information. However, if you're standing there and you meet this person at a bar and their hands are just crossed the whole time, could mean anything. They could be cold, they don't like a stain on their shirt, who knows what? They might have BO. Who knows? They could just not like their hands being loose. They're tactile and they just want to touch something. So their hands are always crossed. Who knows? That's their baseline. However, if they're in a position and then you say something, you introduce, some intel or a stress factor and you see them switch. In that moment, again, that's your golden opportunity to assess the situation and know exactly what caused it and probably why. All right, just a few more, and at the end I'm going to reveal my absolute favorite telltale sign. It lets you know if someone's deceiving you or trying to hold back information. But let's talk about pacifying behaviors. Somebody rubbing their knees, rubbing their hands, rubbing their neck. Again, it's easy to evaluate and go, oh, you're nervous, haha. But take a look at these photos real quick and let's just think about this for a second. Perhaps the person's not nervous. Again, you just dropped in some stimulus and caused them to go to this behavior. All of a sudden they rub their neck. All of a sudden they rub their hands, or all of a sudden they rub their knees. They don't like what they just heard or saw. So think about it from that perspective when evaluating body language. Pay attention to these shifts. Don't pay attention to body language in general because it doesn't really matter. You didn't cause it. So why do you care? Now, when it comes to negotiations or sales or having a rapport with somebody, sure, if they look very closed off the whole time, yeah, you might want to move them out of that position, get them out of that environment to make them more comfortable. They may then therefore be more receptive, sure. But the real gold is noticing moments that you cause or the situation causes live right in front of you, and then you have gold. All right, lovely people, my favorite tell. It's great in business, it's great in dating, it's great in any kind of negotiations, and that is this little movement. Covering the mouth. Take a look at this picture. What do you think this means? What the heck is going on here? Well, I tell you, it could be a lot of things. Some people that are very confident, very intelligent, a lot of times they sit in a meeting like this. Tell me more. This is just them holding back, talking. They're shutting themselves up because they're evaluating and they're listening and they're observing. However, if you're on a date and someone's just talking like, oh yeah, no, I'm not really dating anybody, they just lied. They just covered up their mouth. The very moment they gave you information that you felt like you don't know the answer to, this could be deception. It's fantastic. Someone covering their mouth, they literally don't want to tell you more. It's amazing. So think about that for a second. What could this mean? They don't want to say more. Now, if it's this way all the time, like I said in a meeting, someone's intelligent and they're observing, that's not a bad sign. They're just being respectful and they're letting you talk. They're evaluating. It's great. However, if I ask someone if they broke something, they go, oh, no, I don't know anything about it. They just lied to me. So noticing hands covering mouths, not like, oh my goodness, but like literally a finger covering the mouth. That's telling themselves to shut up and don't give any more information. So it's just an interesting little thing. I'm not saying that everyone's out there lying when you go on a date, but these are just fun little tells that you may run into. I really hope you enjoyed that. If you guys want to learn more about me as a keynote speaker, I do a full, long seminar and a keynote on human behavior and influence and what to do with that information, especially specific to business and sales, business communications, business relationships. Fun stuff. So as a magician, I know you guys know me as a guy that teaches tricks on YouTube and all that good stuff, but I just thought you guys would love this because I had, by an overwhelming response from my previous videos, you guys wanted to learn more, and several people said they wanted to learn more tales specific to dating. Please take a look at this trailer. Tell anyone you know that's in the corporate world if they're looking for a keynote speaker. I'm their guy. I make it really fun because I put a lot of magic into the show as well to make it entertaining and memorable, but the information is gold. The way I teach and my entire perspective of human behavior is very different. I didn't learn to read till I was 12 years old, so I have a very unique background that gave me a very unique take on human behavior and observation and what to do with that information. So I hope you enjoyed that, guys. If you want to learn more tales on any specific topic, comment down below and I'll be happy to teach it. I love this stuff. This is what I do outside of YouTube, and thank you guys so much for watching. Peace out. See you next time. Interesting. Hey, I'm Rich Ferguson, and thank you so much for stopping by. The Magic of Body Language is a crash course on body language and forming strategies real time to be able to influence anyone, anytime for better connection and far better sales success. I've been performing magic and mentalism for over 20 years, and I didn't learn to read till I was 11 years old. So one skill I have is reading people. That's probably why I got into magic to begin with. And now I'm going to share my secrets with you. And I will share what I call a shift of behavior, which allows you to tap into the exact moment of why somebody may be scared, uninterested, bluffing, offended, intimidated, dominated lying, or dozens of other human behaviors. You'll quickly learn that the real secret to the magic of body language is simple. First, you identify if there's a shift of behavior or not. Secondly, you decide what's your goal with that information. I would love the opportunity to show you. You see, the biggest mistake a salesperson can make is not observing first before they try to push their agenda. We've all seen it, we've all felt it, it doesn't work. The second mistake is missing the context or motive of the verbal or nonverbal cues. This is time-tested, real-world applied psychology, not theoretical psychology. It's no illusion. With my seminar, you and your staff will be influencing and sales wizards. Even in a simple introduction and handshake, you can determine somebody's motives and desires. And we'll also take a good look at ourselves to see what message we may be unintentionally conveying that could limit our success. For instance, have you ever sat on the customer side of your desk? Is it inviting, intimidating, or shut off? I look forward to sharing my observation and formula to human behavior for better sales, influence, human connection, and success. Consider having me at your next seminar, training, or convention. I would love to give you a hand.